listening to the Holy Bible 1-Year Challenge with Master Storyteller Michael Wood, featuring the easy-to-read version and used by permission from Bible League International. Enjoy the show!
Hello, everyone. Welcome to day 225. We are continuing in the book of Ecclesiastes. And Solomon in chapter 7 starts off with a collection of wise teachings. Some of them will make more sense to you than others. And then he goes on with some more, as I call them, blog posts or articles. One is called People Cannot Really Be Good. And then he talks about wisdom and power, then justice, rewards, and punishment. And finally, he asks the question and wrestles with the question, is death fair? And maybe a conclusion or answer to that question is the next article, which is called Life is Not Fair. And there's only about 4 sentences in that article. And we're also continuing in the book of 1 Corinthians. And at the end of chapter 7, Paul finishes his discussion on marriage in relation to fiancés, in relation to that time when people are called to be with the Lord and maybe they're pledged to be married. Well, he continues the discussion on what someone should do. And even though he says these are his opinions, he does believe he has God's Spirit. And then he begins chapter 8, just talking about food that's offered to idols. And one very strong point. In chapter 8, verse 13, Paul says, "So if the food I eat makes another believer fall into sin, I will never eat meat again." And so this just shows the communal nature of Christianity. That one cannot live and let live. It's not about just your personal Christianity. No. Your Christianity affects other Christians, according to Paul, and we must consider those other Christians and our own habits and activities.
If you enjoy the show, visit me at patreon.com/storymaster. You'll find the link in the description box below. By contributing as little as $1 per month, you will enable me to continue this ministry, and you'll get cool rewards too. Together, we're going to get through the Bible in 1 year. Let's get started.
Ecclesiastes chapter 7, a collection of wise teachings. A good reputation is better than expensive pleasures. The day someone dies is better than the day they were born. It is better to go to a funeral than to a party. Yes, because everyone must die, and the living need to remember this. But sorrow is even better than laughter, because what makes you sad can improve the way you think. A wise person thinks about death, but a fool thinks only about having a good time. It is better to be criticized by the wise than praised by the foolish. The laughter of fools is such a waste. It is like thorns burning under a pot. The thorns burn so quickly that the pot does not get hot. A wise person who cheats people is really a fool, and a good person who accepts a bribe is no longer good. Finishing something is better than starting it. Being patient is better than being proud. Don't become angry quickly, because getting angry is foolish. Don't ask, why was life so much better in the good old days? That is not a wise question to ask. Wisdom is better if you also have property. Wise people will get more than enough wealth. Wisdom and money can protect you. But knowledge gained through wisdom is even better. It can save your life. Look at what God has made. You cannot change a thing, even if you think it is wrong. When life is good, enjoy it. When life is hard, remember that God gives us good times and hard times, and no one knows what will happen in the future. People cannot really be good. In my senseless life, I have seen everything. I have seen good people die young, and I have seen evil people live long lives. So why ruin your life? Don't be too good or too bad. And don't be too wise or too foolish. Why should you die before your time? Try to be a little of this and a little of that. Even those who respect God do some good things and some bad things. Surely there is no one on earth who always does good and never sins. But wisdom can make one person stronger than 10 leaders in a city. Don't listen to everything people say. You might hear your own servant saying bad things about you, and you know that many times you too have said bad things about other people. I used my wisdom and thought about all these things. I wanted to be wise, but I couldn't do it. I cannot understand why things are as they are. It is too hard for anyone to understand. I studied. I tried very hard to find true wisdom. I tried to find a reason for everything. I learned that it is foolish to be evil, and it is crazy to act like a fool. I also found that some women are as dangerous as traps. Their hearts are like nets, and their arms are like chains. It is worse than death to be caught by these women. The man who pleases God will escape such a woman, but a sinner will be caught in her trap. The teacher says,
I added all this together to see what answer I could find. I am still looking for answers, but I did find this. I found one good man in 1,000, but I did not find even one good woman. There is one other thing I have learned. God made people good, but they have found many ways to be bad.
Wisdom and power. No one can understand and explain things the way wise people can. Their wisdom makes them happy. It changes a sad face into a happy one. I say you should always obey the king's command. Do this because you made a promise to God. Don't be afraid to give suggestions to the king, and don't support something that is wrong. But remember, the king can do whatever he wants. He has the authority to give commands, and no one can tell him what to do. People will be safe if they obey his command. But wise people know the right time to do this. They also know when to do the right thing. There is a right time and a right way to do everything. You must decide what you should do, even when it might cause problems and you are not sure what will happen. No one can tell you what will happen in the future. No one can control the wind or stop their death. During war, no soldier has the freedom to go wherever he wants. In the same way, evil does not allow anyone who does wrong to go free. I saw all this. I thought very hard about the things that happen in this life. I saw that people always struggle for the power to rule others, and this is bad for them. I also saw great and beautiful funerals for evil people. While the people were going home after the funerals, they said good things about the evil people who had died. This happened even in the same towns where the evil people had done many bad things. This is senseless. Justice, rewards, and punishment. Sometimes people are not immediately punished for the bad things they do. The punishment is slow to come, and that makes all people want to do bad things too. A sinner might do 100 evil things and still live a long time, but I know that it is still better to obey and respect God. Evil people don't respect God, so they will not get good things or live long lives. Their lives will not be like the shadows that become longer and longer as the sun goes down. There is something else that happens on earth that seems senseless. Bad things should happen to bad people, and good things should happen to good people, but sometimes bad things happen to good people, and good things happen to bad people. This is senseless. So I decided it was more important to enjoy life, because the best thing people can do in this life is to eat, drink, and enjoy life. At least that will help people enjoy the hard work God gave them to do during their life on earth. We cannot understand all God does. I carefully studied the things people do in this life. I saw how busy people are. They work day and night, and they almost never sleep. I also saw that no one can understand all that God does. People can try to understand the things that happen in this life, but they cannot. There may be wise people who claim to understand the meaning of these things, but they are wrong. No one can understand it at all. Is death fair? I thought about all this very carefully. I saw that God controls what happens to the good and wise people and what they do. People don't know if they will be loved or hated, and they don't know what will happen in the future. But there is one thing that happens to everyone. We all die. Death comes to good people and bad people. Death comes to those who are pure and to those who are not pure. Death comes to those who give sacrifices and to those who don't give sacrifices. It comes to good people as well as sinners, people who make promises to God, and those who are afraid to make such promises will all die. Of all the things that happen in this life, the worst thing is that all people end life the same way. But it is also very bad that people always think evil and foolish thoughts, and those thoughts lead to death. There is hope for those who are still alive. It does not matter who they are, but this saying is true. A living dog is better than a dead lion. The living know that they will die, but the dead don't know anything. They have no more reward. People will soon forget them. After people are dead, their love, hate, and jealousy are all gone. They will never again share in what happens in this life. Enjoy life while you can. So go and eat your food now and enjoy it. Drink your wine and be happy. It is all right with God if you do these things. Wear nice clothes and make yourself look good. Enjoy yourself with the wife you love every day of this senseless life that God is giving you here on earth. This is your reward for all the work you have to do in this life. Every time you find work to do it the best you can. In the grave, there is no work. There is no thinking, no knowledge, and there is no wisdom. And we're all going to the place of death. Life is not fair. Here are some other things I have learned in this life. The fastest runner does not always win the race. The strongest soldier does not always win the battle. Wise people don't always get the food. Smart people don't always get the wealth. Educated people don't always get the praise they deserve. When the time comes, bad things can happen to anyone. You never know when hard times will come. Like fish in a net or birds in a snare, people are often trapped by some disaster that suddenly falls on them. 1 Corinthians chapter 7, verse 36 to 40. A man might think that he is not doing the right thing with his fiancée. She might be almost past the best age to marry, so he might feel that he should marry her. He should do what he wants. It is no sin for them to get married, but another man might be more sure in his mind. There may be no need for marriage, so he is free to do what he wants. If he has decided in his own heart not to marry his fiancée, he is doing the right thing. So the man who marries his fiancée does right, and the man who does not marry does better. A woman should stay with her husband as long as he lives. But if the husband dies, the woman is free to marry any man she wants, but he should belong to the Lord. The woman is happier if she does not marry again. This is my opinion, and I believe that I have God's Spirit. About food offered to idols. Now I will write about meat that is sacrificed to idols. It is certainly true that we all have knowledge. as you say, but this knowledge only fills people with pride. It is love that helps the church grow stronger. Those who think they know something do not yet know anything as they should, but God knows the person who loves him. So this is what I say about eating meat sacrificed to idols. We know that an idol is really nothing in the world, and we know that there is only one God. It's really not important if there are things called gods in heaven or on earth, and there are many of these gods and lords out there. For us, there is only one God, and he is our Father. All things came from him, and we live for him. And there is only one Lord, Jesus Christ. All things were made through him, and we also have life through him. But not all people know this. Some have had the habit of worshiping idols, so now when they eat meat, they still feel as if it belongs to an idol. They are not as strong in their understanding, and their old ideas cause them to doubt that what they are doing is right. But food will not bring us closer to God. Refusing to eat does not make us less pleasing to God, and eating does not make us closer to him. But be careful with your freedom. Your freedom to eat anything may make those who have doubts about what they can eat fall into sin. You understand that's all right to eat anything, so you can eat even in an idol's temple. But someone who does not have as much knowledge as you have might see you eating in that temple, and this might encourage them to eat as well. But they are not as strong in their understanding, so they may eat that food as worship to the idol there. So this weak brother or sister, someone Christ died for, is destroyed because of your better understanding. When you sin against your brothers and sisters in this way, causing them harm by confusing them, you are also sinning against Christ. So if the food I eat makes another believer fall into sin, I will never eat meat again. I will stop eating meat so that I will not cause my brother or sister to sin.
Psalm chapter 95, verses 1 through 11. Come, let us sing praise to the Lord. Let us shout praises to the rock who saves us. Come and worship him with songs of thanks. Let us sing happy songs of praise to him. For the Lord is great, the great King ruling over all the gods. The deepest caves are his, and the highest mountains belong to him. The ocean is his because he created it. He made the dry land with his own hands. Come, let us bow down and worship him. Let us kneel before the Lord who made us. He is our God, and we are the people he cares for, his sheep that walk by his side. Listen to his voice today.
Don't be stubborn, as your people were at Meribah, as they were at Massah in the desert. Your ancestors doubted and tested me, even after they saw what I could do. I was angry with them for 40 years. I said, they are not faithful to me. They refuse to do what I say. So in my anger, I made this vow. They will never enter my land of rest.
Thank you, everyone. That was day 225. Join us for day 226. We'll be finishing the book of Ecclesiastes. Solomon poses questions such as, is death fair? And he poses the statement that life is not fair. He tells us to boldly face the future. And finally, he finishes with some problems of old age. And in the book of 1 Corinthians, Paul explains that he is an apostle of Jesus Christ. And as he ministers to the church in Corinth, he believes that they should support him financially. In the same way, in modern times, people give an offering to the church and support the minister and the staff. Well, that idea sort of started with this chapter. We hope you enjoyed today's verses. Be sure to leave us a positive review and to share this podcast with your friends and family. Please join us for the next episode as we experience the Bible in 1 year.
Did you know we offer online courses in creative writing, literature, and web design? Visit us at storymaster.online to learn more.